it's almost like this week has had everything in it. There are so many good things, good ingredients, and really hard ones too. And exactly right now, I'm sitting with the harder ones. I'm sitting with reflecting that when we drove into London, London was getting ready for Sabine and Nessa's vigil. And then this weekend, as we're preparing to leave, we're all kind of just dealing with or having to sit with everything that's following the Sarah Everard case, and then the ridiculous kind of so many signs. I feel heavy with the work exactly right now, and yet also so grateful that we came to London and it's given us stuff I didn't expect, and feel like there was some wisdom in us being here that's totally, I don't know that either of us could take credit for it. It was just, oh, well, that's working out, so let's do it. And actually feels so good to feel connected with friends who we haven't seen for 18 months or so, and of course for us, friends is often also work colleagues, and so yeah, like this beautiful way of anchoring us before we travel off. And like you, I kind of, big part of me just wanted to go straight to Wales, but I'm really grateful that we didn't.
Yeah, so grateful. And I think we didn't plan London in that way. We planned to come to London, but then everything that popped up and happened, that was, as you say, like that wasn't our wonderful planning and we were able to orchestrate that. That really just happened. And yeah, we showed up for it and we listened and when things came up, but to me it was such a necessary, and I didn't quite know that I think we, in terms of what we're doing next, which is really, starting this travel, because we're going to Wales and that feels much further away, just literally in distance. But so the time here has felt, and I've said this all week, is like a big cuddle.
Yeah.
From people we share the work with, from friends, from the city. It was different to be back here after 2 years. I haven't been in London for 2 years. Sound like a little country bumpkin, but been in Brighton, and the city was kind of gorgeous to walk through, but also with all the multiple feelings, also with a bit of this is strangely empty in lots of ways. I know it's picked up in many ways, but also it's very empty still in lots of ways.
Yeah.
So there were contrasts in terms of feelings there, and then seeing organizations and talking, and the contrast there, the excitement for the work that we're doing, and just the beautiful reception of the conversations. But then we also all spoke about the heaviness of this week. So I totally agree with what you're saying. Like there's so much to hold in this. There's a lot.
Yeah. In a week, in just a week.
In just a week, yeah. But also not just in a week. It's always there. It's just very much at the surface right now and in the media, and yeah. So I'm ready to get in the van tomorrow and journey to Wales, and but also taking a lot with me from this week, and maybe that will only settle as we travel, as we get there, as we spend the first week there. I don't feel that this week here in London has quite settled. I just know it's quite a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I trust that over the next few weeks, seeds that have been planted right now will emerge. I think I just feel like I need to stop. I want to stop. I'm very tired.
Yeah.
It's been a lot this week, although everything's been fun. Nothing's been hectic, nothing's been high pressure, but there have been lots of different people and lots of different spaces, and London's just a completely different energy, even when it's quieter. And it's so strange in a way we've you know, there's lots of London that are old haunts for both of us, and I feel I'm a very different person in many ways, and in some ways, of course, completely not. But even just visually, like I'm walking different. I've been so proud of myself to not reacquire my London walk this week. It's actually really nice to just stroll around London instead of doing everything as if you're in a hurry.
Yeah, we both definitely, like, we could feel ourselves jointly speed up at certain times, you know, I don't know, racing towards something, a train,
Like
because there's never a next one, is there?
Underground is like, wait 2 minutes and the next one comes. Is really...
Yeah. It has been interesting to notice that, not just... And yeah, like revisiting almost like myself, you know, and going, oh, hi, like, oh, hi, okay. You look a bit different.
Yeah. What have you done with your hair?
Like looking in the mirror and going, oh, you look a bit different. Yeah, but it's been, I feel really, really like rich from this week, but also with the hard stuff. But it just, wow, we had some incredible conversations and just a lot of good energy, which feels like such an amazing, like a gift to take with us as we're packing up today. I'm also packing that, you know,
there's
like,
a lot to put in the van beyond the stuff, and I think there's something that I'm just so grateful for, the wisdom that is, we left home but we're not yet far from home. We're in, we did all of that physical and emotional work of leaving, but we're only an hour and a half up the road in a familiar place with familiar people. And we're very now swiftly going to step into, okay, this is new and much more remote. And I feel like the connections that have happened this week, a lot of it has been like almost like this green light. You know, you describe it as a hug. I took a lot of reassurance from this week that we're not going off on a wildly weird tangent that other people can't connect with, which would have been possible. It's like, gosh, that's really different and that's really interesting, is really awesome, but it's like everyone we speak to, it resonates, and it's like, oh wow, yes please. A retreat centre for survivors of abuse, yes please. Like, it's happened already but it hasn't. And to just journey and learn about healing from injustice, I wish, you know, I feel like I'm more reassured about what this could mean for other people. And that feels really good. I feel very inspired by the conversations we've had as well. So, and maybe it's that whole thing, it's, you know, this is what it's all about. It's about more conversations and bigger groups, and this is what we're setting out to do. And it feels vulnerable to start with an unknown in terms of, you know, what will the connections be like, you know, will other people be there along the way? And you know, it was almost like this was our first stop, as you say, not very far from home. And were other people there? Yes. Massively showed up, and for, you know, in terms of the conversation as well. So I'm feeling, I almost don't want to use the word fuel, but I want to say fuel, you know, that's really fuel in the tank. I hope we get actual fuel in the tank tomorrow. We will. We will. I have faith.
But I do feel just very inspired, and, you know, leaving quite a few conversations, I was like, absolutely, we are doing this, like, let's go for it, let's really make this happen. There is absolutely no reason for this not to happen in terms of the, you know, not the short term or even maybe medium term goals, but like the longer term, the retreat, having that available. I'm just like, we're doing it. That's how I feel, you know. It's too much in terms of feedback and people going, yes, please, yes, needed, and just not to do it. You can't. So that's, I feel, enthused.
It's also been really nice to meet people in person, because in theory, everything that happened this week we could have done online in terms of the meetings.
Yeah.
But it was so nice.
Yeah.
To have those conversations, to physically see people's workplaces, to, with the friends, to, have a much needed hug. But to be in the presence of people instead of just see their face on a screen.
To feel the energy.
Yeah.
Literally to feel the energy. Maybe that's why I'm sitting here grinning, and from the week. And I think, there's just that feeling of literally sitting in someone's energy and sharing energy is incredible. It's something we all share. It is one of our human gifts to feel that. So I'm really grateful for that, and I'm so looking forward to the in-person events we've got planned in Wales that also took shape this week, and it's only 18 days away, and then we're going to have that, and that's going to be with new people and a new structure, and it's unknown, and there's a vulnerability around it, and there's an excitement around it, but we're starting with these circles that we're holding, inviting people to talk about this question that's coming on the road with us. How do people heal from injustice? And that's brand new, and I have no idea how that's going to pan out.
I think Wales has got a lot of beautiful questions. Like we don't know people there. We haven't met the organisations before, although we've been in contact. So I feel really curious for us now it does feel like stepping into new spaces or unknown spaces, and I'm so curious about how that works out. And I'm also really okay with, we have a very quiet month, we do some quiet events, but actually we rest and recuperate and ideas emerge. That would also be okay.
I'm so excited for the spaciousness because I know what happens in gorgeous spaciousness. I mean, this whole project took shape in spaciousness, walking, taking time out that we thought was, just going to be a quiet 11 days of walking. This was born there. And I'm not putting expectations on the quietness, but I know the potential thereof, and I've got so many work things in my mind that's kind of just been waiting while we've been packing up and sorting out our house and everything, and I can just kind of feel the knock already. I'm kind of driving towards it. So I'm really feeling that, and I'm excited because I think we're in a really exciting stage for what we're doing as well, and all the different elements of that. So it's not just one thing, and that also came up more and more when we were talking to people this week that we haven't seen for a while, and just talking about the breadth of the things that we're doing.
Our response to "So what are you doing?" it's quite epic. Don't know if it makes sense, but it's also really simple. But I kind of hope we never get used to telling. It's not a story because but it's. I hope it also feels, at the moment, it feels completely full of possibility. I have this sense that we're heading in the right direction, but there's not a lot more than that. And I hope in many ways it continues to feel like that for a long time. But as we've discussed this week, we need a few anchor points. So for me, if I can say, in 6 months' time, we've got 2 months in South Africa, that would feel like an anchor.
Yeah.
And then the time between then and now feels boundaried. I guess it's a boundary as well.
I wonder if that space and time between what you call anchors will kind of lengthen. So it was like, okay, I need to know where we're at or what we're doing, say in 3 months, and then it's actually I'm quite comfortable with knowing in 6 months, or I just wonder about that space, because right now we know we're doing Wales and we're there for a month, and then we're in Scotland for a month, and then we know the next month after that. So, and I feel quite comfortable in that space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just wondering if that
changes.
comfort zone will grow bigger.
Well, we would just have to find out.
Yeah. It's been a good week, thank you.
This week is... how do you feel about home?
That's so interesting, because I started only thinking about that yesterday or the day before. I was like, oh, we've left now, but I'm not sure, because I've been to London so many times, so I'm not sure if I've completely realised that I've left home, or if this just feels like a London visit, which is quite a normal thing to do, so it's quite familiar. I think I will only feel that when we get to Wales, and perhaps I won't feel it straight away. Maybe, I don't think I felt it yet, but that in itself is a feeling, because I'm not sitting here thinking, oh no, I want to be home, I want to go home now after this week away. I'm really excited to go to Wales. I'm not thinking, oh, I really wish I was going back to Brighton now. I don't feel that. So I'm feeling, that that pull between home and where we are now. It's completely slack.
Yeah.
It's not there's no tightness in it. It's kind of, and quite maybe quite close to letting it go. I don't know. I think it's too soon. But I feel different to what I thought I would feel. I was wondering if at the end of this week I'll be like, I'd really love to go home now.
You've been so full of ease. That's how I found you this week, especially at the start of it.
I feel very chilled.
Yeah, considering, because this week is it's awesome to house sit, but it does mean we're not occupying this space. We're trying to keep our stuff contained, and so that bit of home that is more fluid, like this definitely is someone else's home, whereas the next month we can kind of occupy that space, and this week's had lots of ingredients that might have been stressful, but you seem to have been so not even at ease and playful, joyful. It's been gorgeous to kind of be in that energy with you. Suits you.
Yeah, I quite like it. And it is, I notice the things where I'd usually be like, oh, I'm working out of like a box, all my stuff is in there, or I've got all our kitchen stuff in a box or something, and usually I think I would always want to unpack. So very literally, when I get anywhere, I want to always unpack, and somehow the way that we've done it has been enough, even though we haven't really unpacked. We've just put it in different containers in a way. So I was quite surprised by that as well, and I think I've always known this was going to be a learning journey for me as well, and discover how I do on this road, and I'll just keep discovering. I'll discover how I feel being in Wales for a month, and then I'm just discovering those parts of myself. I don't know. And I'm being gentle with it as well. I know that I'm being gentle with myself, and to say it doesn't have to be one specific way. So I'm not scared of missing home, going, oh, and then it means the trip's failed or something. I'm like, if that's how I feel, then we'll deal with it. So I'm also making space for that for myself, which I've done very consciously. How do you feel about home?
As we were packing up and leaving, and I was experiencing moments of loss, and I really knew, and not in a cognitive way, and I felt this in my body before, and I know these feelings, that as soon as I was away from home it would be all right. But I did also know that this week wasn't going to be the ideal situation. I think I'm going to be a lot more at ease in the countryside. I've fallen in love with hills, that's been my story. So we're in the city, and I'm not nearly as chilled out as you've been this week. But I'm very grateful for the nurturing that has happened this week, and a lot of the things that would maybe normally make me worry have been appeased by things that have happened this week.
Okay.
But I was never worried that I would miss home. I was worried that we wouldn't be able to settle in spaces, or one or both of us. And if we can feel relatively settled here when it's a busy city, it's only a week, we're house sitting, we're both exhausted. You know, it has so many ingredients for it to be quite a little bit of a difficult week, and it really hasn't been. So I'm looking forward to really getting into this, and I'm so grateful that it doesn't have an end in sight. That actually makes me really lean into the spaciousness of it and give myself permission to get into this new way of home. But the truth is, you and I have always travelled a lot or been around, or we are each other's home in the most important sense, and we're travelling with half a van full of stuff that is also our life. So yeah, I'm looking forward to really getting into it now, but I feel like I can get, you know, when you actually, because I'm reading Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, and often there's, you know, on the hero's journey, one of the elements of that is you meet some kind of mystical figure who gives you advice or guidance to help you, that you're going to lean on the journey, the adventure you're just about to go and embark on. So like I think, is he called Yoda in Star Wars? Yeah. So I feel like that's happened this week.
The time here has been your Yoda.
I've met Yoda a couple of times. I've been gifted nuggets of advice and wisdom for the journey ahead, and I'm really grateful for them, because I think I'm gonna be using them immediately and going forward. And so all Yoda'd up.
All Yoda'd up. Lucky we've got an extra row seats. Yoda can come along.
Yeah, all mystical creatures can also join.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to next stop, Wales. Yeah.
See how we do in the proper countryside.
Yeah. And walking, and the season's changing. We're going, you know, the weather's definitely changing. Like, there's also that change, what that feels like. But yeah, I just really feel like this is a big discovery at the moment, with certain plans and, you know, still very important priorities, but also just full of discovery.